Getting more bullish on Tesla. That's Dan Ives of Wedbush. He's coming out with a new note and putting a $1,400 price target on the automaker. That matches the highest target that's out there. I think Jefferies is the one that has the same target on it. Dan is joining us now. Dan, I'm curious about the timing of this call and why now is the time to come out and say that Tesla's going to make this next push.
Yeah, it's because of all of our checks and focus on the China market. I think right now China is accelerating going 2022. And I think that's worth $400 a share of the Tesla story. I think they're going to continue to be able to accelerate that. That could be 40% of deliveries next year. This is really a China-driven price target increase, but also in terms of what's going on across the world. I mean, we're seeing this green tidal wave play out. It's a $5 trillion market, and I think a further re-rating in Tesla continues to happen.
Dan, why aren't you fazed much by Elon Musk selling down his stake?
Well, we always assumed he was going to sell 5 to 6%, just given the, call it 12 to 15 billion tax bill coming. Now, the fact that he did it in a Twitter poll, that can only be one company and one CEO that ultimately does that. But from a PR perspective, I mean, that I think ended up being a win, because if he just started selling stock, indiscriminately and without sort of notifying, this is a stock today that could be $850, $900. But Musk is part of the cachet and part of the genius that is Tesla. And that's what they've built. And right now, you're seeing this sort of market share gains accelerate, but it's not a zero-sum game. I mean, GM, Ford, Lucid, others are going to be significant beneficiaries in terms of how we sort of see this accelerating into the next 12 to 18 months.
Well, and all those other guys are a lot cheaper, like in terms of valuation, in terms of just absolute stock price. I mean, why not counsel investors to maybe buy the ones that have more upside?
Well, I mean, GM, we view bull case $100 next year. I think GM is just a massive re-rating story on EVs. But I think when you look at the pure plays, and you've seen it with Lucid, you've seen it obviously with a lot of the excitement of newcomers coming out. And of course, you see it in Tesla. These are really growth transformation stories. I don't view them as auto stocks. I view them as disruptive technology players. And it's an arms race in terms of what I view as the biggest transformation to the auto industry since the 1950s. And that is really how you're seeing this just massive shift in terms of the way the street's looking at auto companies. And you've seen it in GM and Ford. I think you'll see in VW as well in terms of that re-rating.
Dan, a tweet from Ford CEO Jim Farley caught my attention last night. He said, quote, "We are now expecting to produce 600,000 EVs a year globally by the end of 2023, 2 times our original plan." I mean, Farley at Ford is absolutely fired up. I mean, does Elon Musk need to be worried about what Ford is cooking up?
I mean, Farley's he's had the golden touch so far. And I think you could also say for what Mary's doing at GM, but they're diving into the deep end of the pool on EVs. That's what Farley's doing. And that's more and more what the re-rating is going to be in terms of, they could even lose share in traditional ICE. You gain in EVs. This is a stock that could go much higher. And I think that's a smart move in terms of the conversion opportunities we're seeing. I think the Biden infrastructure bill, from tax credits to charging stations, that's just the first step in what's going to be this massive green tidal wave playing out.
Hey, just quickly, Dan, got to ask you about the Apple car as well. A report yesterday from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman said that Apple is looking at full autonomous capabilities in its electric vehicle that it's developing. And I think 2025 was the target date that was in that story.
Yeah, it's a matter of when, not if, Apple comes out with the Apple car. We've assigned 75, 80% plus chance that this happens. We've said 2024. Gurman's talking about 2025. Apple's not going to view this market from the outside. It's a fourth industrial revolution playing out. And I think Cook and Company within Apple Park, they have a lot of things going on when it comes to autonomous. Could be a partnership like Lucid, Ford, GM, or others, or they could go on a standalone basis.
Interesting stuff, as always. Dan, good to see you. Happy holidays to you. Dan Ives, Wedbush Securities Managing Director and Senior Equity Analyst.